So in the first one, we focused more on designing agri-food programs to be attractive for women. Now we're looking at agri-food programs and discussing the need to include gender aspects in those programs. I think I can see Milica and Michał. Is that correct? Yes, I can. Oh, okay. Yes. The three of you are here. Fantastic. So what I would like to start with is to give you a chance to do exactly the same we did in the first session. So provide a bit of a context of your, for your presence here today at this session, and introduce yourselves briefly. So let me start with Milica. Can I ask you to go first?
Hello from my side. My name is Milica Trajković, and I'm leading Innovation and Business Development Department of the BioSense Institute. It is a research institute dedicated to ICT for biosystems, primarily agriculture. And what we do is to support researchers in basically all of their activities. So from primary research to income diversification, but also we're supporting them in monetization of their ideas and actually making an impact out of their research work. So we're supporting not just great scientific papers, but actually the impact out of innovation.
Thank you very much. And I'll go to Elina. Can you introduce yourself and give us a bit of context? Please.
Yeah, sure. So I'm the founder of Launchlabs. We've been for 10 years on the market, and we work in supporting predominantly big corporations innovate. So we do innovation training programs and we run innovation sprints. And last year we did an exciting project called Future Verticals, which was the first in Bulgaria accelerator focused on food tech and agri-tech. Our tagline was accelerating sustainable innovation, and we did it to support the co-creation between startups and our corporate clients, specifically in this sector. It turned out really well, so I'm here to share our learnings, what worked well, what didn't. I'm very excited.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. And Misza, to conclude with you, can you introduce yourself, please, and give us some context as well?
Hi, I'm Michał, and I'm from Foodtech ACVC. I'm a former entrepreneur. I've done a couple of business connected to food. And after that, me and my business partner, Piotr, we started a startup accelerator around agri-tech here in Poland. We are a privately funded initiative, so we do everything out of our own pockets, which allows us to do, to follow our expertise and follow what we think would make us, the most money and the most impact, of course. And surprisingly enough, we have roughly 50% of founders who are females and gender minorities, and that's the market saying that those are the founders. We didn't put in any quotas. We just like to believe that we follow the best, and yeah, that's that.
Fantastic. So you're definitely sharing some of the best practices with us, because we want to learn about how to do it. So the teams are or the portfolios are diverse, or as diverse as possible. But what I want to start with is I've seen most of you, being here online with us throughout the whole session since Alexander delivered the presentation. So I was hoping that to hear some of your thoughts and takeaways from both the findings and also the first panel discussion. So can I start with Milica? What are your takeaways from the two first parts of the event?
Thank you. So first of all, while reading the report and today during Alexandra's presentation, I was quite, let's say, satisfied that Serbia is basically more or less in line with what are the findings of the report. So in many cases, we tend to say that we're lagging behind many topics and many trends, but this with this, we're kind of in line with what is happening in the rest of Europe that is covered within the report. Basically, in Serbia, the average female entrepreneurs are having 37 years, and 44% of them have a diploma of social sciences. So that is kind of the average that we are working on, and why, when we ask them why they started with the entrepreneurship, 1/3 said that they are here to solve the problem. So I think that it is a good starting point for further discussion and for further actions. And I would completely agree with all three panelists in the hour before this one, when saying that collaboration is something that should be in focus. As we saw, we have similar starting position, and so the collaboration could just bring additional value for all of us. Of course, there are more things, and of course, there are some differences. I'm sure we will be able to hear them in the upcoming hour, but this is something which was really pleasant for me to hear.
Fantastic, thank you. We're definitely going to share some success stories as well. And a couple of months ago, I had a chance to speak with a Serbian female entrepreneur who transitioned from marketing. So she was a marketing professional at a bank in Serbia, one of the biggest banks in Serbia, and then she started producing cookies, and she has been very successful in that area. And what she has done, she has actually started employing other women, even from more challenging, circumstances or backgrounds. So that is really, an impact that that particular entrepreneur is making. But it somehow correlates to, the social aspect that you mentioned earlier.
Exactly, and that is also one additional trend that we are seeing. So mid-career change.
Yes.
So women that had successful careers in, let's say, multinational companies, banks, or some other fields, they're shifting completely their careers. Maybe their background knowledge is not for the purpose of business, as you said. The lady from banking system went to making cookies. However, their social skills, organizational skills, team leader skills are very, very positive for the new business.
Mm-hmm. Thank you very much, Elina. What are your takeaways from the first two sessions?
Well, I'll be short. Really, the power of network. We understand that in Central Eastern Europe, we'll be advancing better in a more meaningful way if we work as a network. And I've seen this very well, and really EIT Food is to be thanked for this. So that is really my takeaway, and I'll be sharing some success stories later on when you give us the floor from our corner of the world.
Perfect. And Michał, what are your takeaways?
Thanks again for calling me out. Firstly, I'd like to say, and I know there's a lot of patting on the back, but you guys at EIT are doing a really good job and empowering women and gender minorities to do this, to do entrepreneurship, because as you've heard, and I think it's quite obvious that in our country and generally in CE, they're starting from a lower, at least mental mindset. They're permanently put down by the system. And I know even though, especially in big cities like Warsaw, nobody says that to their face anymore, but you know, they can feel it. They can feel that they're put down. So what I like to stress is you know, to empower women. Also, personally, I think Vadim said it, that you know, putting the time in one-on-one and saying that's the majority of my job, at least. So I keep saying, like, listen, you're just as good or even better with, you know, the person who does a similar thing in another startup. Just stop doubting yourself. You know, put in some hours on believing that you can do it, because you have all the necessary skills and more. I believe that women have more perseverance than men. They don't give up as easily. They have a higher threshold of pain, also business wise. So yeah, I mean, just, you know, keep the good work and keep empowering them.
So I'm going to stay with you for a moment, because you said that you have this you know, equal division between within your portfolio. So can you tell us about how you have done it? You said that you didn't do it, you know, you didn't do it on purpose, but still you managed to achieve that you know, equal division.
Well, first of all, it's a bit easier in areas which are around sustainability, because I don't want this to sound sexist, but you know, women and gender minorities have at heart sustainability more than men, which is you know, which is very admirable and kind of sucks for the men. I mean, you know, I think we have to put in more fragility and empathy out there, because we're losing on it. So that's the first thing. Another is I don't know. It just happened. I mean, we didn't look like any other VC guys. That, you know, I'm not asking if she's gonna have a child in more than 2 years, because I know she can have a child or even two and carry out the work better than any other guy out there. So I'm not asking that question. I'm looking at the skill set. I'm looking at the business model, and I'm you know, I'm not looking at the gender. So if you do that, and if you keep telling that story in every VC meeting out there, that those people are overlooked because of sexism, and they're losing money. They're losing these great founders who they can make up. Because back at the end of the day, VC is a money game, right? So they're losing money because of their own, you know, sexist thoughts. So yeah, that's just, you know, spread the word out there that that you know, this age has ended, and you have to look at the performance, not at the gender. You know.
But I think that, you know, this financial aspect might actually, you know, play a role here, because if you say, well, if you're not looking at this part of the market, you're actually losing, and you're losing big time. And if you look at the performance of you know, those sort of two groups or three, as you mentioned, because you mentioned also minorities here. If you look at the three groups and their performance, what are your thoughts? What are your takeaways here? Or specific skills that they apply in, you know, running their startups, their businesses, that are different?
So regarding the first thing, I think Alexandra said it, that it is often that female-led startups they die out after some time, you know, in comparison to male-led companies. And again, that's because women start doubting themselves. You know, they're not being, for example, we invest in very early stage, and later in the process, they're not being invested because of their gender. So that's again, we see that. I could actually relate to what Ola said, that those startups are dying out. And on the other hand, as I told you, there's more perseverance. So even when financial runway has ended long ago, they keep fighting. And I'd say that if I look statistically, out of 35 portfolio companies that we have at Foodtech CVC, 20 are still growing. And again, despite all the challenges and the VC market being against them, they're still doing a very good job, and it's still 50-50.
And you're saying 35 led by women, or 35 overall?
In general.
In general, okay. And how many of them are actually women led?
Yeah, about 50%. I mean, it's either most of them
out of the 20 as well. Out of the 20 as well.
Yeah.
Not okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Andrew, maybe I can jump in and share
Sure.
a few things here. So in our portfolio, we had 52% of the companies led by female founders. And it just like with Michał's case, it happened purely by chance. But of course, now, post factum, we can do the reverse engineering. We also did some surveys and asked, founders what attracted them. And there are a couple of things that I want to share here. So first of all, being diverse as a team helped. Specifically, we had a project coordinator that is male and a project coordinator that is female. So we had a project coordinators duo representing both, sexes, and that was really appreciated by
but within your organization.
Specifically for that project, the coordinators were a female and a male, so that helped. Also, the board that selected the startups, because we had over 60 applications, out of which we selected 17 startups. We had in the selection board both female and male combination of investors and experts, so that helped as well. And the thing that founders appreciated the most, so I'm talking at the end of the program, we asked them, and of course the program was appreciated, but one of the things that we singled out was the Uber network that we built. Again, I'm coming to the word network, maybe more often we will be talking about that, but in our accelerator, we built a network of mentors and experts that is really Uber. Like whoever was, the creme de la creme in food tech and agri-tech was part of our network of mentors. And I'm speaking about corporate partners, I'm speaking about investors, I'm speaking about scientists, universities, etc. And women need networks to succeed, and I think this attracted them. So they saw we have a diverse network of real experts, people that have done startups and succeeded, people in corporations that can open doors for pilot projects and, so on and so forth. They really appreciated this availability and the one-on-one mentorship with this network. And I'll stop here, give the chance to the others to share their own experiences, but I just wanted to share these three things with you. The diversity in terms of the team that coordinates the project, the board that selects the teams, and the network that supports the startups throughout the accelerator.
And thank you very much for that. That's very valuable comments. I want to ask you about mentoring, because you talked about networking and you mentioned mentoring as well. But looking back at the first session, that we spent quite some time talking about mentoring and what it should actually look like to make women benefit from that. How do you see that element being important as well, and the kind of mentoring women are looking for?
So maybe something that was specific to our program, and I think it worked really well, was that we kind of cut the program in two phases. In the very first phase, we had all the knowledge sessions, which our mentors would be the leaders. So they, in every module, we went through the classical, customer discovery, customer validation, product discovery, product testing kind of program. And with every module, we would have mentors sharing knowledge, both in a structured way and in a more interactive kind of Q&A way. So this lasted for 8 weeks, and the only purpose here was knowledge, but also networking. Like after every session, leave a lot of time for people to have coffee or lunch, or just get to know each other on a more human level, if you want, not just expert level, which is important, but on a human level. And only in the second phase, we said, okay, now let's do the matching between startups and mentors. Now that you both sides know each other, startups were the lead. So you pick your mentors, and mentors, confirm if they want to be your mentor. So it worked out really well because both sides had the chance to really know each other before they went into mentoring. And from there on, it was very flexible. They would schedule their own, in their own time, the meeting.
So it wasn't fixed. Yeah, it wasn't fixed, like only sort of limited to the time they were participating in the program. Okay, so I see that the same success factor played a role here as well. Milica, can I ask you about your success factors in making agri-food programs more attractive to diverse groups?
Thank you. So in the previous years, we were running an accelerator program that was supporting startups and companies at certain level of development. However, back then we didn't focus so much on women. However, this year, actually now as we are speaking, we are running an incubator program. So we shifted a little bit our focus to the ideas. Why? Because we know that in research and development institutes, there are a lot of women that are working on, and that are employees, that are female researchers. However, they don't have so much courage. They don't have so much self
confidence,
power, and confidence to step out of their comfort zone and go to entrepreneurship. So this time we focused on supporting ideas from research and development institutes in Serbia. Luckily, our intention and our idea was recognized by the Ministry of Science, Innovation and Technical Development. So basically, we are together developing an incubator program to support, of course, as it was said, we're focused on ideas, best ideas, regardless of if it is coming from men or women. However, we're paying a special attention to every single researcher that we are faced with, and we're trying to encourage them to try. It is not painful. It is not, but it just can bring success. Of course, in the report we saw that it is a lot that it is highly recommended for the program to be very flexible. So we are also paying attention to that. So our female researchers can make their private life-work balance, and also the balance with the program and with the development of their idea.
And you mentioned this lack of confidence, which is a real issue from what I have seen, over the last few years. Do you have any recipe for that to share with women, based on your experience of working with women? How can we encourage women to take up the opportunity and try?
Yes, well, definitely by sharing good examples. and not just good examples of other women being successful, because we know that there are a lot of differences among women as well. We cannot make generalization. However, we can share also success stories that were done by male founders, however, that they didn't had all the box ticked, because sometimes we tend to say that women are there, will apply, for example, for a job if they have all the boxes ticked, if they fully are in line with the requirements. So maybe sometimes we are sharing some good examples of successful companies that are founded by men, and they didn't have so much
all
technical,
the boxes ticked,
or some domain knowledge, or something else, just to see that it's possible. It's just the matter of either good organization or some other factors, but success comes with courage.
Thank you very much for sharing that, because oftentimes women believe that if they don't tick all the boxes, if they don't, provide all the information that is needed, that means that they won't be able to succeed. But it's not always the truth. I can see Misza turned on his mic. Do you want to comment on whatever has been said now?
If I may, thank you very much for Milica for that comment. I will add on that not only showing the examples, but also encouraging the successful entrepreneurs and business women and men to share their time as mentors, but also their money. Polish and generally people in Central and Eastern Europe, people who have earned a substantial amount of money, they're still very risk averse. In the US, and it's not a problem because people know that they can invest 1, 2, 3, 5, 10% of their wealth into venture capital or into into investments which have high risk. It's not existent in Poland. So my point here would be that we have to encourage people to invest as business angels, and invest their money into a fraction of it into whatever idea they believe or whatever person they believe can and will make the difference, and kind of guide them, maybe be a proper business angels to kind of smart money on board.
Thank you very much for that. I want to ask you a question related to specific groups of entrepreneurs. So which groups of women from the agri-food sector have the biggest chances to succeed in the startup ecosystem? And I'm talking about farmers, scientists, activists, or business innovators, based on your experience.
I can share mine. I don't know if you'll take that as or a non-answer, but I have the feeling that women who focus on problems they fundamentally understand will be able to succeed. These could be very small problems or very big problems. We should not judge. But they need to fundamentally understand it, whether they're farmers or scientists or activists or entrepreneurs, and solve them not necessarily on their own, but through partnerships. So I guess understanding your problem, understanding who is impacted by that, and being able to connect the dots in terms of partnerships, this for me this is the foundation for success. It doesn't matter if you're a farmer or a scientist. You need to understand what problem are you solving for, which part of the puzzle are your own capabilities, and which other capabilities you have to bring in on the table and be able to facilitate these partnerships. That's my take on it. Again, not betting one.
Thank you very much for that. It's great. But I have a feeling that sometimes, and some of the female entrepreneurs that I've had a chance to speak with, and we also talked about it in the first session. Sometimes it's not a really big problem. Even if you think about the example that I shared from Serbia earlier, transitioning from the marketing from a marketing department to a cookie making place. Cookie making is not really solving a huge problem, but perhaps finding a niche, that is something that these women should be looking at. Do you agree, or what are your thoughts?
That's what I was trying to say, because in our accelerator, we had women solving smaller problems, like, cookie production. We also had a cookie company. We also had chocolate production company that produces actually luxurious cookies, luxurious chocolate. It's not solving a very big problem, other than trying to make an industry fair and healthier for people.
Yes.
You might say it's a relatively small problem to solve.
Yes.
We had another startup who was working on preserving the rose bio production and the biodiversity of roses in Bulgaria, which is a big thing. And we had another startup making different compost formulas, and these two are very sciencey things to do. You need to understand data, you need to understand biology, biotechnology, etc. So, as I said, we should not be judging as long as the team understands what they're in
what
for,
they want to do.
Right? And they have the core capabilities to do it. And they understand that whatever they don't have as a core capability, they can bring in people through partnerships. I'm fine with that. The world, especially if we take a sustainability lens on it, is full of small and big problems to solve, and somebody has to do it,
But when I thank you for that, for clarifying that. But I think if we look at that particular example from Serbia that I mentioned, it might be cookie production, but at the end of the day, the entrepreneur is also solving a social problem, because she is employing a group of women that are, in a lot of cases, out of the job market for a lot of people. So that is also important, I would say. What do the others say to those chances? Farmers, scientists, activists, and so on. Milica and Michał.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't make a differentiation between either their farmers or scientists or some coming from NGO sector, but I would say that the biggest chances have those that perceive barriers as manageable. So we are now facing with a situation where we have more and more founders, both men and female, that are not coming from IT background. So they might be domain knowledge experts, or they might be, let's say in this case, farmers, but they are very aware of the issue, of the problem that needs to be solved. They are facing with other challenges. For example, if the problem that needs to be solved includes IT, so some kind of programming or something, they need to hire that expertise. And that might be difficult for their further development, because when you're working for someone, you cannot dream his or her dream. But I wouldn't say that female farmers, for example, are dominantly have better chances of winning if they are competing on the market, but just those that are completely sure in their idea and that they know how to solve the problem, or at least have idea how to solve a problem that affects many people.
So I can see that you're fully aligned with Elina. Michał, what's your take on that?
Well, personally, as a VC fund just trying to solve humanity's biggest problems in food and agri, we hope those are the scientists, because they have the necessary intellectual property and they've done the research and development to make sure we solve the really, really big problems. And not discouraging the other groups, because they too have their strengths. But yeah, in my personal opinion, I really hope there are as many scientists, delivering their products to the market as quick as possible.
Perfect. Thank you so much for that. So let's take a more broader sort of look at the situation of the agri-food startup ecosystem in the Central and Eastern Europe region. What do you think could be the role of Central and Eastern Europe in that vertical going forward, and what is the role of women in that? Since Michał, you're on my screen already.
Okay.
Go ahead.
All right, I will. So, and if we look at agri-food sector, Poland and Central Eastern Europe countries are a big food exporter. So I truly believe we can, with the proper technological and financial enhancements into making this a properly modern industry, we can prevail as again the region that feeds the Europe or even the world. And again, my hope, and it's not only hope. I mean, I'm convinced that women and gender minorities will take the baton here and lead the revolution. So yeah.
Perfect. You didn't mention Ukraine. We had Vadim in the previous panel, but Ukraine was also nicknamed the breadbasket of Europe. So there's probably quite a few opportunities there as well.
Geographically, I consider Ukraine as Central Eastern Europe. I mean, we welcome founders from Ukraine, and the whole region. In my opinion, it's pretty broad. I mean, the whole former Eastern Bloc is within our investment spectrum. So anyone from Estonia down to former Yugoslavia is and further east like the borders of Ukraine. They're welcome to apply, and we'll be happy to support them, because kind of again we share the similar history and the similar capabilities. Also, intellectually and scientifically, we're very strong. So yeah, no doubt about that.
Because that means that you're aligned with emerging Europe as well, which includes the countries like Georgia and Armenia in that group too. Milica and Elina, what are your thoughts about the future of the the agri-food startup ecosystem in the CEE region, and the role of women, obviously?
Yes, I think that the future is quite bright. Both because we are having more and more funds that are focused on women entrepreneurship and generally entrepreneurship in agri-food and agri-tech domains. But also I would like to remind on the previous panel discussion where it was said that we miss a family dimension. I think that is also something that women will bring. So more humanity, more personal touch in this business world. So I think that we will be seeing more and more female-led startups in the upcoming period, but that are both solving problems in a sustainable and more family-oriented manner.
Perfect. And Elina?
Yeah, thanks. So we want to be the example of industry integration or vertical integration for Central Eastern Europe. That's why we called ourselves Future Verticals, because we want to bring everybody from startups to corporates and investors that will define the future of the vertical that is food tech and agri-tech. And I think by bringing everybody in, this is what attracts women, or at least that's the feedback we're getting. By bringing this variable network together, women can have peers, they can have access to experts in different fields, they can have investors, they can find corporate partners, and this is very, very interesting for them. I'm happy to share that during our acceleration program, startups raised €500,000 from various investors, which is really a big success, and 5 times that figure after the program, because we still keep tracking them. And these are early successes, but we are very, very much looking forward to what's next. And as I said, we want to be the example for integration in the vertical.
Perfect. Thank you so much for that, and thank you very much for the panel discussion. I can sense a lot of thoughts about integrating everybody that is relevant in that discussion, and all the stakeholders that are really important to move the sector forward. And I can see EIT Food's role in that, and we're really grateful that this community has brought us together today to also see those opportunities and supporting, and give us the chance to support one another in our future endeavors. Now, thank you so much. I can see that we have a couple of questions from the audience. So I am going to, I think there are some of our panelists from the first session are still with us. So if you feel like jumping in to answer some of the questions, feel free to do that. So the first question is, are there any differences between tech scientists and social innovators in terms of attracting them to food tech accelerators? So that's the first question. Anybody wants to take that one? Are there any differences between tech scientists and social innovators in terms of attracting them to food tech accelerators?
So maybe I can take one. In terms of, again, being a privately held and funded institution, we have to look not only for the sustainable aspect of the investments, but also for the financial ones. And we always have to look for the highest returns. And in my personal view, we always like to look at technologically advanced projects that we can scale and have intellectual property which can be protected and then sold for a lot of money. At the same time, we also take in founders who do social entrepreneurship, because we see it's very, very important. So in our accelerator, there's a place for both, and I do believe we have some investments that are from social entrepreneurship and are doing extraordinarily well, and I know that will be a big exit. So potentially there is no difference, but at the end of the day, if you ask me who VC funds will invest more at later stage, that would be tech.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Anybody wants to add to this question?
I would add, probably,
go ahead.
Because the main thing, from my opinion, both person can have a mistake. If you are going for revenue and you could prove that you will have the big exit for the investor, for the accelerator, that you can scale much, both of you can apply. But if you're a social innovator, probably you could go, you should more focus on respective accelerators like Impact Hub, Impact Acceleration Programs, and almost every countries have the special programs focusing on social impact, and they can provide you with a much more expertise and much more connections and push you growing further. So probably you could not only looking to the food acceleration program, Foodtech, but for the impact accelerators.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And anybody else by any chance? I don't see anybody else raising their hands. Okay, so the other question is how to encourage innovators to invest in women-led agri-food startups. That's probably, again, going to be for Michał, at least at the beginning.
Could you please repeat the question?
Sure, yes. It's how to encourage investors to invest in women-led agri-food startups.
you show them the market which they're missing, and that's that. You show them that women are, you know, persevering stronger than men in a lot of cases. That's, you know, honestly, I'm a statistician by trade, so you just show them the statistics, you know, that they're doing as much as good as males, or even better. And if they you know, if yeah.
No, go on.
If they just lose the buyers and open their mind and see what's really in front of them, they will see.
So it's changing the pitch a little bit and saying, you know, look at what you're going to lose if you don't invest in our startup.
Depends. The question is from me as an investor who's encourage another investors, or if you're a pitching
investors
startup.
In general. I understand it's you know, encouraging investors to invest in women-led startups.
If you're a pitching startup, and I think that goes to all founders, it doesn't matter the gender, work on your public speaking skills. I think it's the most underestimated and under taught skill in entrepreneurship. You have to have proper speaking skills. I'm fortunate that my girlfriend is a public speaking coach, one of the best in Poland, Kama Kotowska. I mean, you know, if you're looking for a coach, that's her. But yeah, I think if you can explain your idea in a simple manner, and if you can convince the investor that you're going to persevere, you're going to pursue your idea strong, and you're not going to back down. I think you're golden, and of course the numbers count. I mean, you have to be solid with the business model. The profit and loss analysis has to be firm, and yeah, show them that they will make millions out of you, and they will invest.
Or they can lose those millions as well. Anybody else would like to add to what Michał just said?
Maybe I could add, as Michał said during the panel, business really do not have sex, because if you see the opportunity, you will invest in that. And if you could prove the team, the market, the need, and the X3, X5 for the investor in 2 years, they will invest in you. We should think more still that how can we encourage more women to go to the tech startups, because it's proportionally, it's always the funnel. And if we have this proportion at the beginning, we can't force anyone to invest in something not proper. We just need more businesses that are seeking for investment. So we need to go a little bit earlier, and then they will invest. And to be honest, I work with a lot of companies, and at the moment, because everyone wants the gender equality on their portfolio, and it could be also a benefit that you're a woman founder if they need to choose, because they would like also to have this representation that they have this value and they support these values. So being a woman at the moment can be the benefit, but you should understand that you are working on the same condition, and the game and the rules of investments are the same. If there will be more startups, more investments. That's easier. Thank you.
Fantastic. Vadim, thank you so much. And I would like to thank all the panelists today for joining us.